Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to Globally Changing Lives Deep Dive. This is an official ONPASSIVE webinar, and today is a beautiful Thursday evening for those of us that we have it as evening and those who have it as morning or afternoon. And it's evening, July 6, 2023, and we are starting this webinar officially with all our wonderful smiles to each and everyone who has signed in or will be signing in. We have a lot to share with you, but we will be starting with a signature tune by one of our own global ambassador, who is also a member of this team. Sister Lerato Shadare Prosperity is her name. And we do have non-verbal communication messages queued in by our very own Dr. Derek Clark. So over to you, Dr. Derek and Sister P, to play our signature tune for the day. Thank you.
ONPASSIVE. ONPASSIVE, the future of internet.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
Wow. Thank you so much, Dr. Derek. That's artificial intelligence at its best. 5 years ago in July of 2018, we did not have any of that. And 5 years later, we have something to show up for. We definitely are in it to win it. Okay, we're moving now to the next segment of our webinar, which is the mindset. Because without that, we cannot prepare for the next step, isn't it? Yes, it is. And the person who is going to share the mindset with us today is Queen JW, Queen Sister Jacqueline Warner. And she will share with us about believing in oneself. Yes, believing in oneself by JW. Who is she? She is an entrepreneur of perfumes, cosmetics, and food supplements. She's a mother of 5 and a grandmother of 8. And guess what? She is more. She is an inspirational speaker, and her slogan is, "Believe in your dream." She's also a host of Real Talk, which is streamed live on Facebook. And she's always here with us. And she loves helping others. So she's going to help us tonight, empower us about believing in oneself. Without further ado, please let us welcome Queen JW.
Good evening, good evening. Thank you so much, Queen Debbie, and thank you for your dedication and your commitment to this platform, or actually to ONPASSIVE also. And thank you, Dr. Derek. Thank you, Dr. Patience. And thank you to all the brand ambassadors. We are truly in it to win it. And we have so much to be grateful and excited about. So let's stay engaged, let's stay excited, and let's make sure we're there tomorrow to hear from our CEO and the team. So thanks again. Yes, thank you for that amazing introduction also, Queen Debbie. And also, let me not forget Dr. Benny, Queen Dr. Benny. Thank you so much also for always keeping us in track. Okay, tonight the topic, yes, is believing in oneself. And I think I was browsing. I had a topic, and then all of a sudden this one popped up. So I said, well, maybe the Spirit wanted me to talk about it. And there's 5 powerful reasons we should believe in ourselves, because I think not that we don't believe, but when we're thrown, like we're in this business now, and we might find it like, can I do this? Well, I never had a business before. I'm not tech savvy. So, we ask ourselves, questions. We question ourselves. But these reasons is that, let me tell you, we can relate to them. They're simple. They might be a little difficult to achieve, but I don't think nothing is difficult to achieve. Anyway, do we believe in ourselves, or do we have confidence? Do we believe that we can obtain our dreams? And sometimes we put our dreams on the back burner, and we're so caught up with life. And so we just don't even think about it. Or we don't even write them down or envision or put them somewhere that we can see them, even though we can't get to them right now, or due to circumstances or conditions, whatever it may be. So we need to believe in ourselves. We need to believe in oneself. And most of us always thought of becoming something or doing something. And you can hear a lot of some of the brand ambassadors talking about their projects already and so forth, and what they want to do, and how they're going to use some of the products. So that's a good thing, because they already have they believe in themselves enough to know, hey, these are the things I want to do. So believing in yourself is also setting goals for yourself, you know. And most of all, we cannot get anywhere if we don't believe in ourselves, because if we don't believe in ourselves, how is others going to believe in us? So, and through life, don't feel that we haven't believed somewhat in ourselves to get to the air to where we at today. A lot of us is where we at because we believe in ourselves. Some are very successful. Dr. John is a financial advisor. He could suggest things to us. He believes in himself. Dr. Derry, he's technical. He's the doctor of technology in a way, and he teaches us along the way. He believes in himself. And I know a lot of us do believe in ourselves. But if we believe in ourselves more, especially at the time when ONPASSIVE is the resource for us, like Dr. T made it clear that God is our source and ONPASSIVE is our resource. And that resource is going to help us to get into those things that we wanted to do and our things that we wanted to become. So I'm going to start with some of them. And no matter how difficult the tasks along the way get, you don't give up. You keep on going. Because successful people, even though they have doubts and fears, or failures, they keep on going, and that's what makes them successful. So I'm going to talk about the 5 powerful reasons. And number 1, we are already here. We was created. We were born. That's number 1. Isn't that one so simple? God created us. We made it onto the planet. We are here. So we already, that's a big one, because we was created to do something. So therefore, there's some purpose. We was created for a reason. So we got purpose. So everything that we have to do on this planet is already within us. Uniqueness is in each and every one of us. So we have arrived. And so we got a purpose, and there's something that we need to do. So number 1, we have arrived. And we can need to lead a successful life, and how you lead a successful life with the greatness and the talents and the gifts that each and every one of us hold within in ourselves. And all we have to do is put them to work. Yes, it might be challenging, but if there's no challenge in something that you want or you're doing, then it won't even have much meaning. It won't be that exciting. You know what I mean? Like our CEO, Ash Mafara, he is excited. He be bursting with excitement. He just try to contain himself, and that's how it feels when you when you give your uniqueness and your talents and your gifts, when you breathe life to it, when you take action and you make it manifest. You're going to feel great. And it doesn't matter what it may be or how small or big it may be. Don't get caught up and don't be doubting yourself. That's the one, doubt and fear always show up, and they don't come one at a time. They come together. They be, and then you got to make the choice. Isn't that simple? You have to make the choice. Everything we do, we make a choice. So it's not like, man, doubt showed up and I had no choice. I had to take the doubt. No, both of them showed up. That's one thing about God. There's good and bad, and they both come together. And we get to make a decision. So don't let doubt, because doubt will dampen your spirit and will not allow you to be a conqueror or an overcomer. And you have heard that in the biblical word, in the Bible. You have heard that before. If you read your Bible, you have heard it, because God stated we are more than conquerors. That's even bigger. You know what I mean? So God already have everything mapped out for us. And so we just got to go with the flow. We have a natural instinct for surviving, but also not of surviving, but also for striving. You see what I mean? So we don't get one without the other. Unless you totally decide, I have no dreams, I have no goals, this is not for me. But I know each and every one of us with the spirit that lies within our soul, that we each came on this earth to do something great. And if we are great, imagine the greatness that's going to come out. That is so amazing. Sometimes we hold our own self back. You know what I mean? I remember a time when I went out to this comedy show, and I love comedy. And I wanted to get up so bad. And then they said, who wants to come up? But I sat like the chair was holding me, and I could not get out of that chair to go to that stage. And I look at that and said that was my opportunity. But let me tell you, it was my opportunity, but it's not the ending. It's not period, that's finished. You keep on. You don't never, just because you didn't get to do it right there and then, that don't mean you give up on your dream. So you keep on going. Number 2 says, we did it before and we can do it again. It sounds simple, right? But it is simple because a lot of things, some of us was a mother more than once. We passed motherhood, we went and had another child, and we kept on doing it. Some of us had more than one job. If you lost a job, you didn't sit home and say, that's it. I can't deal with this. I ain't gonna do this no more. No, you don't do it that way. Just go ahead and get another job. Sometimes people say you fake it till you make it, but in a positive way. Because every hurdle is a learning, and it makes you stronger, and it equip you, gives you courage to continue this battle or this fight. Because what we fighting is for what we believe, And number 3 said, we're not alone. We're not alone. Experiences that we go through in life, successful people have doubts too and fears, like I said before, but they don't stop. Difficulty and uncertainty, those 2 emotions show up, fear and courage, but you have a choice. See, remember, in the word said, fear is not of God. Fear is not your friend, but you can use that fear and step on it and go to the next level and say, you ain't got nothing on me, because it's just an illusion. So don't never let fear. I know that the Bible say fear our Father, but there's a different kind of fear, because we're fearing him because he has a set of rules that if we want to be in that kingdom, that we have to go by. We have to abide by, and if we want to get there, we got to have some kind of fear, so it keep us in line. It's almost like setting boundaries. So we're not alone. And furthermore, Yah is always with you. He's always with you. So what fear could you have? I mean, yeah, it can say, I'm having a challenging day. Maybe things are not going so well right now, but it will be better. So always, when a negative come, push a positive. Because God himself takes a negative and turn it into a positive. When I was homeless, I got a place. I didn't stay homeless. When I was burned out, I still got things because people bless me. God is always there. He never leaves you alone. Trust in him wholeheartedly. Number 4, we have unique talents and gifts that all of us have. I know some of us say, well, I probably don't recognize it because didn't take time to recognize it, because you're caught up with work, you're caught up with the world, you're caught up with all these things that we have to do, especially COVID. COVID changed a lot of our minds and how we do things, and it opened our eyes to a lot of things. So even though there was negative in COVID, there was positive also. It brought families together. People were able to sit down and have dinners and so forth, learn about each other when they didn't have that time alone. So it's good that the world stopped for a moment, even though it took some lives because of negligence. It wasn't because of God for sure. So don't let nothing or anyone, stop you from your dreams. Or they might, the naysayers, like they say, and the people who don't believe in you, or the people that say unpassive is a spam and all that, that is not real. Stay away from people that is not going to help you to grow, or people that's going to make your doubts take over, and then your dreams are dead. They're dampened. You gotta get up again and get that energy and that mindset to get started again. So don't let nobody come in and say, hey, use your talents. Whatever your talents are, use them. I like talking, so that's my little niche. I love doing that. I love helping people. I love motivating people. So that's my little gift. That's my little talent that God gave me. Not saying I don't have many other more other talents, and we all do. But you got to find the one that's easy for you to do. You're comfortable with it, and every time you do it, you will be victorious because you can do it with ease. I always say something that you already know. If it's baking cookies, if it's knitting, if it's sewing, whatever it may be, it's your talent. It's going to bring you abundance. That's God gift you with it. And everybody has their own gift and their own talents. And everybody going to do things in a different way. So no one way is better than anyone else's way. It's just style. People got style. And number 5, people are counting on you. People are counting on us. Ash is counting on us. He's in this thing. This Unpassive is about uplifting humanity. He is counting on us. Our families is counting on us. The world is counting, waiting to see what we're going to come with, what our gifts are, what our talents are. And through Unpassive, a lot of us is going to be able, some people are already showing their talents. You know what I mean? You don't have to wait for when you get apples to do anything. If your talent is already with you, remember your talent or your gift is your work, is your wealth. So you can start showing it off now. Start working towards it. Whatever it may be, start writing the things down, planning and saying, hey, this project that I want to do. You hear Mr. Retail Smart talks about his project, and he always doing research. Okay, I'm gonna call him the researcher because he always doing research because he is so serious, so passionate, not serious, but serious and passionate about his project. And you heard Miss Virginia about the tub, that the elderly will be able to take a shower and so forth. Bill Williams and all he wants to do with the doctors and travel all over the world. Murdoch on using Old Blessed. So we are surrounded by people that believe in themselves, and we need to make sure that we are believing ourselves and getting out of our comfort zone and doing the things that we truly love. And check it out. We got Unpassive, the resource to help us again to live our dreams and believe in ourselves. So I just want to leave you with this. Thomas Edison said, if we did all the things we are capable of doing, we would literally astound ourselves. And it would be so true because when you hear Dr. Patience and all the things that she has done, I feel astounded for her myself. I'd be like, wow, or Lily, being the most amazing landlord. Let me tell you, that's amazing. We are surrounded by amazing people, and the ones, not saying that you're not going to doubt yourself and question yourself along the way. It's going to happen, but that don't mean you're going to drown. You're going to let it consume you. We're going to question things because every time you get in a new situation, you be like, I wonder if I could do this. It's just like going to your job, you get a new job and in your head, you're saying, boy, I wonder if I could do this. I wonder if I got what it takes to do it. Yes, each and every one of us got what it takes to do anything we set our minds to. Remember, imagine, if you can imagine something, yes, you can achieve it. So let us believe in ourselves. Let us, because the main thing is already done. We are here. And once you're here, you got purpose. And once you got purpose, you know there's talents and gifts and all kind of things that you can do. So let's use, not saying we use it on passive, but we were given this on passive right into our loving hands from our loving CEO and the team. Let's use it to help and to uplift humanity, but also to put us in the best versions of ourselves. So thank you again for your listening ear, and remember, believe in yourself. I'm all
Thank
done.
you, Queen JW. You nailed it. Wow.
Thank you.
Those 5 discovering oneself, believing in oneself, that is outstanding. Thank you.
Thank you.
What
Thank
a
you.
presentation. Thank you, JW.
Thank you, Queen Debbie.
I don't even know from all those 5 if I'm capable of handling one.
Yes.
I'm just looking at the unique power and gifts, and you counted yours from homelessness to where you are right now with us. Hey, girl, you are blessed.
Yes, indeed. Thank you.
It is a blessing in the sense that not everyone can find themselves in this situation. And thank goodness we get to share your story through ONPASSIVE. Without ONPASSIVE, I don't think we would have been able to, our paths would have crossed. So the unique powers and the gifts that you have been given, you're sharing with us. We appreciate you. And we thank you for fighting for yourself, for your family, and we are part of your family now.
Yes,
so,
indeed.
With that, I will say, if you have any comment, anyone who has any comment on Queen JW's presentation, she had 5 wonderful points. If you have any comments, this is the time to say it before we move to the next segment of the webinar. So I'll just pause here just to give you a chance to raise your hands and comment on her presentation. All right. Oh, yes. Bossman. Yes, Dr. Derek. We're ready. Born ready, Dr. Derek.
Yes, indeed.
The hand is so dark, I can hardly recognize it.
Thank you.
I am a dark man. What do you expect? I am a black man.
Darker than your shade.
A proud black man. Understand? I love myself. And so, I don't have a problem with, you have to, wear double lens glasses if that is the case. But that's my hand. I do have a white hand. I have a black hand. Okay. And if you look, it's black. Anyway, beautiful. Anyway, wonderful. Peace, blessings, enough,
enough love.
Plenty, whole enough love to everyone, both on YouTube and here in this wonderful meeting at this time. Oh my goodness. As according to Queen Debbie, you nailed it.
Thank you, Dr. Derek.
That is Queen Debbie's famous words.
Hello.
Nailed it.
You nailed it.
Oh my goodness. I tell you, I say, anytime I do a presentation and Queen Debbie don't say you nail it, it's not good. It ain't good. She has to say you nailed it. Oh my goodness. Wonderful. Queen Jacqueline Warner. That was really awesome. That was really awesome. Very awesome, actually, because believing in oneself, a lot of people is not really putting it together and looking at it fully in the context of self-worth. Self-worth. And that is where a lot of us as human beings falter. We have no self-worth. And that is why people are so easily depressed. They don't put any value on themselves. No value. As soon as you realize that God is the one that values me, then listen, you know, that is why so many people are depressed, because they don't use the value that God put on us. We are trying to value ourselves. And anytime you value yourself, so to speak, with your evaluation, it's not going to be good. Accept the value that God put on us. And when we accept that value that God put on us, then half of our worries are over, because we will be able to experience joy in spite of. Because situations will always happen. Things will always come into as I call to my great grandmother Dingy. People will throw the monkey wrench to foul up your business at all times. And so if you don't have the self-worth that God put on you, then you're going to be in despair at all times. And so thank you very much, Queen Jacqueline Warner, for that self-worth, believing in oneself, so that the value is not down here, but the value is now up here. When it doesn't matter what people say about you or do to you, it doesn't matter, because you know, you first, you see, first we have to accept ourselves. You know, we don't accept ourselves. You understand? And that was what happened to me when I was a little boy. Because you would never believe, Jacqueline Warner, you'd never believe that I was an introvert.
Huh? No, I won't believe.
When I was going to, well, maybe not high school, but all the way, well, maybe the first grade in high school, it start to, you know, start to grow out of it. You understand? But I was an introvert. I socializing and all those things, I not into it. Because first of all, watch this now. Me was a MAGA boy. You understand? MAGA boy. And so right away, I did not have a nice image of myself.
Right.
Because I am a MAGA boy. You understand?
Yes.
You get the picture?
I can relate.
You understand? And so therefore, I didn't have no self-worth. I thought little of myself because I'm a MAGA boy.
Self-esteem.
But growing and realizing now that all of the fat people them want to become MAGA. I said, hold on. Then hold on. Then me already in the right picture.
Yes. Too bad.
I am already in the right picture. You understand? You know, yes. And so we have to accept ourselves.
Yep.
Let us accept ourselves for who we are. If we don't accept ourselves, do something to change it.
Wow.
And stop complaining. Do something to change it or accept it. That's it. You understand? If you don't like how you look, do something to change it or accept it. You cannot live the same way and expect a different result. Now, that is what madness is. And a lot of mad people is not eating out a garbage pan. You understand? So let us accept ourselves for who we are. And if we think that we don't like who we see in the mirror, then start to change under the supervision of God.
Amen.
Thank you very much, Queen Jackie. Really appreciate. Really, really. This one, you nailed it. You nailed it. You nailed it. Queen Debbie, you nailed it.
Nailed it.
All right,
Thank you, Dr. Derek.
Dr. Derek, thank you very much. Thank you. We appreciate that comment. It's very well received. Queen Sister Dr. Benny.
Greetings. I am unique. You guys know that, right? Oh yeah, I am. You nailed it. Queen Jackie.
Thank you.
Oh, wait. Before I proceed, please, I want to take this special moment to thank our Heavenly Father for bringing
Amen.
all of us here together. You know, what I like about this webinar, or should I say about this company, that God comes first. Not every company believes in God. And that is why I know ONPASSIVE is going to progress. Yes. See what I mean? Oh, yeah. Oh, that's what I'm talking about. Yes. Anyway, sorry. I just want to thank our Heavenly Father for bringing all of us here. He knew that all of us will be here because he loves you and I. Again, he sent our visionary to all of us, Mr. Ash Mufaria. If it wasn't for him, you and I would not be here. No. And that is the first thing I want to say before I can proceed. You nailed it, eh? Queen Debbie, she nailed it. Okay. I love all your points. And this one, number 3, you said, we are not alone. At first, I thought I was alone, but I noticed that I do have my Father, Papa God, Jehovah Jireh, Jehovah Nisi, Rapha, El Shaddai. I have him, and I have you guys. I hope so. Thank you. Thank you so much for this. This mindset is really, it's educating all of us. I hope you guys notice that. Our CEO always talk about mindset. And I noticed that this particular webinar, this Dr. Derek, he always bring you guys to us for us to learn about our mindset. I came here to say thank you. I appreciate everything that you're doing. We love you, and I believe you are an asset to this company. Thank you, Dr. Derek. Thank you, Queen Debbie. Thank you, Dr. John, Dr. Pat. I love you guys. Thank you. This is my own uniqueness.
Indeed, indeed. There's no replica of that. Thank you for being uniquely you, Dr. Benny. We appreciate that very much. Even if we do not say it regularly, just know deep down that we do. All right, thank you. One more hand, and then we'll move to the next segment. Queen Janine.
Hi, everybody.
Hello, welcome. Good night.
Thank you. Thank you. Good. Yes. Good evening. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good day, as they say in Australia. I thank you so much, Queen Jackie. I don't know if you saw my message in the chat, but the Holy Spirit has been whispering that to me for a while. And I had a challenge at one point where I had no self-worth. And the Holy Spirit actually gave me an exercise to do, which I'd like to share if you'd like. It's really simple. What you do is you take a piece of paper and you write down 100 things you like and admire about yourself. And this is not, I like popcorn or I like watching movies. It's what you like. I like that I'm an honest person. I like that I do what I say I was going to do. I like that I cook well. I like that I tend to my family. And this just really gives you a picture. It's like talking about somebody else. Like if I was to describe any of you to somebody who didn't know you, and I would say, oh, they're kind and they're welcoming. And you can see they have such good hearts, so just list the things. If you can, if you get stuck, ask somebody else what they like and admire about you. It's quite remarkable because you get to see a picture of yourself from outside and your qualities. So yeah, thank you for letting me share that.
Thank you, Jaylene. Jaylene, thank you so much. That was so beautiful. I will keep that tip and use it because, you know, it helped us to to really get a picture of ourselves, and that helped you to know yourself, and most of all, believe in yourself. And like Dr. Derek said, you become so valuable. Okay, so take that tip that Janice shared, Queen Janice shared with us. It's a good one. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Queen Janine. All right, Elder Harold.
Yes, good morning, good afternoon, and bonsoir, good night. I was so moved by Sister Jackie that I remembered something I learned a long time ago. Actually, it's three verses, and I just want to share it because I think it complements what was discussed earlier, and it goes something like this: doubt sees the obstacle, faith sees the way. Doubt dreads to take a step, faith scores on high. Doubt asks the question, who will go? Faith answers, I. I just wanted to drop that in the basket as well. Thank you so much, Sister Jackie.
Thank you, thank you. That is so. You know, you always come with something so great. You are an awesome man. Thank you, Doctor. Thank you, Mr. Harold.
Thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you, Elder Harold. We appreciate that. And thank you, Queen JW. We appreciate you as always. And hang around just in case. All right, we're moving to the next segment of the webinar, which is what a lot of people would like to hear about. And boy, I have to say this. We are honored and blessed that we have the best in this house. This house means Deep Dive, Dream Team, Niger Forum, all the ones that we combine together. It is a blessing because we have been blessed with people who can share with us. And today we're going to call on Dr. John Ajongwen to share with us his knowledge of financial freedom. I know we have seen him present to us before, but it's been a while. So just in case we have newcomers who've never been in this forum before, I just want to give a little summary of his background. And when I say a little summary, it's because it's just the abbreviated version of who he is. So when we do see him, we know that we're getting what the Frenchman would say, crème de la crème. So Dr. John Ajongwen completed his PhD in chemical and biochemical engineering in the UK. And this was followed by a postdoctoral research position during which he also completed an MBA before transitioning into the pharmaceutical industry. And in that, he worked with Merck Pharmaceutical, as well as GlaxoSmithKline, Johnson & Johnson, Sanofi Pasteur, and carried out projects globally. Just over 10 years ago, he left that corporate America job and moved into the financial services area and has been focusing on providing financial literacy to individuals and businesses, wealth creation, debt elimination, wealth protection, and legacy planning. He is currently a senior marketing director with the World Financial Group and married to our dear sister, Dr. Sister Queen Patience. They have 5 children, and of those 5, a set of twins. He currently lives with his family in New Jersey. Please, without further ado, let's open our ears Take your pen and paper and make notes as we welcome Dr. John Ajongwen to share with us today his knowledge on financial freedom in our ONPASSIVE journey. Over to you, Brother John.
Wow, 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 wow. Sister Queen Debbie, thank you very much. And Queen JW, what a powerful mindset presentation that you just made. Thank you very much. And to everyone who is here on this ONPASSIVE platform with us today, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, or whatever time it is. It's God's blessed time for us to be here together, to be able to share with each other. I do not come here claiming to share any special or specific knowledge. I am here really to act as a servant and a conduit to just share some concepts that I have been blessed along the way to learn. And I hope that in so doing, they would be of benefit to you. Just as a quick disclaimer right off the start, we have a lot of people, as Queen Debbie said, on these platforms that we work with who are experts. And I'm not gonna attempt to say that what we'll be sharing here is going to provide you with that complete expertise. My aim here is really to take the discussions that we started previously to the next step. During the first series of presentations that we had on financial readiness, the purpose was primarily to make sure that we got the right mindsets, that we understood how, as one of our sisters, Lerato Shadere, always says during the mindsets, money is like a magnifying glass. It just magnifies your personality. If you are a good person, money is just gonna make you shine brighter. If you are a bad person, it's gonna bring out the badness in you. And during the first series of our talks, which was titled ONPASSIVE Financial Readiness, the focus was just to look at some of the mindsets that we need to develop around money, so that when we are blessed with financial opportunities through this ONPASSIVE journey, we can actually utilize it to help ourselves, help our communities, and uplift humanity. In this second series, which I have sort of boldly titled Steps to Financial Free Independence, which may or may not be a right topic, but let's just take it for what it is now. The focus will be really to just provide you with some pointers so that when you then start to make decisions, you're not just sitting with somebody who is an expert and they're lecturing at you. Maybe you'll be able to ask a bit of curious questions and have some better understanding, or make sure that you're getting down the right path to achieving that big dream that each and every one of us has. So that's what I'm hoping to achieve with this series of presentations that we are going to have. Some of them will actually be here on this. Let me just make sure that I get the slide deck started up properly. Some of them will be here with us on this platform here. Some of them we will do at the deep dive webinars, and some of them believe it or not, will be repeated and some will be unique. So what is he saying? I'm saying that to get the complete picture, you may have to actually attend our series either here at the deep dive or both of them. The beauty of it is that our great leaders on this platform, they do record this series, and if you miss any of them, you'll be able to actually have the opportunity to look at them. Let me just stop the sharing and make sure I get this right, because something is not very right here at my own end. Let me restart because my screen was freezing and I don't want to freeze once I've got going. Okay, so right at the bottom of this slide is a quotation that I picked in one of the books I was reading. And I found it very interesting because something you've probably heard, that an investment in knowledge pays the best interest. And that's Ben Franklin. And you see that this platform especially, and thanks to Dr. Derek, one of the things that I've admired the most here has been the wealth of knowledge that you have been giving us. And there is no way that somebody can actually say thank you or even attempt to pay you and the other leaders that have been sharing this tremendous knowledge with us. So that said, we all know that when we get money, it is not going to be worth. And many of you probably have seen this slide, and I think Dr. Derek again reused this one at one of his recent presentations, where he was telling people here that 90% of the people that win the lottery end up broke, and also sharing the fact that when people have money, they can be rich, but they cannot be wealthy. And wealth here brings with it a lot of things, both the financial as well as some sort of time freedom. My aim is that through this ONPASSIVE journey, we will gain more, both the financial as well as the time freedom to be able to do what we're doing. So we will talk about some tools that will help us to be able to transform our income that we'll get into wealth, so that at the end of the day, we are not like Mr. John here, who will be making a lot of money but ending up broke at the end of the year, but even be like Mr. Adam, who could earn less and still make more. Looking at the objectives of the training that we're going to have, if I can use it loosely like that, or the sharing, more to say, what we're going to do here is we're going to just walk through some principles and share some tools and concepts that will be able to help us generate wealth. Because as Robert Kiyosaki, if you don't know who this is, his most popular book is Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and he's also written other books like the Cash Flow Quadrants. It's not how much money you make, but how much you keep, how hard it works for you, and how many generations you get to keep it for. Let's just pause there for a minute and think about what he said. One of the mindsets, coming back to mindsets, that I would really want each and every one of us to take away from the money that will come to us from ONPASSIVE is for us to think that whatever money that we get from ONPASSIVE is not going to last forever. If you have that mindset that the 10,000 or 5,000 or 2,000 that I get from ONPASSIVE is not going to last forever, but I want to make sure that I make that 10,000 or 5,000 or 2,000 or whatever it is work hard for me, and more importantly, make sure that it can actually be converted to a legacy that will go from generations to generation, then we would be successful. And my hope is that I'll share a couple of ways that we can do that. Just for a start, this is a fact. Most wealth that people pass over from one generation to another tends to actually finish at most by the end, by the third generation. So think about you giving your kids, so whoever, some money, or you write it in a will, and you say give child A 20%, child B 20%, child C the rest, and then maybe give the rest, the sum to charity. What tends to happen is that in very rare situations, does that wealth go beyond those children's grandchildren. It finishes before those three generations are gone. Let's then think about like the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers of this world, and just see that the world that was generated hundreds of years ago is not only growing, but will never, ever, ever run out. What we want to do in our own little corners, when I highlighted this statement by Robert Kiyosaki, is that we need to learn and change our mindsets to make sure that the money, whatever amount it is we get from ONPASSIVE, is going to last us through more than just one generation. And to do that, at the very beginning, we're going to have to do some math, learn some basic mathematics. And the math basically says that the money or the income that we get, if we take out our lifestyles, we will probably be left with something we call savings. And if we take those savings and we understand some of these concepts and principles, which I call the wealth formula, and apply to those savings, we will generate wealth. We will be able to protect that wealth, and we will be able to transfer that wealth in the most efficient manner to the next generations, to the charities of our liking, or to wherever we want to in the most efficient manner. And what we call the wealth formula just talks about you taking your money, applying time, a rate of return, taking care, looking at the impact of inflation or the cost of living, looking at the effect of taxes. And when you subtract some of those, then you will be left, that money becomes wealth. In that process, there are 4 key things that the wealthy people use, or mindsets they want to abide by. And those mindsets, they make sure that whatever that wealth formula is applying to their savings, they make sure, 1, it is growing. 2, they make sure that it is safe. They make sure that it is well protected. And whether you've heard it or not, those who understand will take advantage of the tax systems that exist. They may be basically looking at the tax codes in a particular country, or it may require positioning those businesses in areas that are tax advantage. whatever it is that they do, we will need to be able to apply some of those concepts to our wealth in order to, into our money in order to create a wealth. We will talk about some of those as we go along. And if we do that and do it consistently, then my hope is that we should at least build or gain some financial independence. And what do I mean by financial independence here? It's not just that we're living in the biggest house or have the biggest car. Yes, a lot of us have toiled for so long that we can afford to give ourselves a bit of luxury. But then we need to look at that second part of the equation I showed you previously, the lifestyle, to make sure that at the end of the day, there is something left for savings. We are approaching the launch or the commercialization of ONPASSIVE. And one of the biggest mistakes we can do right away is when the first apples fall, that we just go splash, 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 splash. No. The first thing we need to do is try and discipline ourselves. Obviously, we'll need to, most of us will need to dig ourselves out of some financial holes. I'll share that in a bit. But we should really consider that even when we have gotten to whatever level, making sure that we're not just spending needlessly or frivolously, protecting our loved ones in case, the worst should happen, creating and leaving a legacy, the last bullet. It should really be at the forefront of each and every one of our minds. But before we even get to that state, let's just talk about some of the first things that we will need to do. In one of our recent webinars, I remember Dr. Derek, he actually did an excellent presentation about making sure that we have our business inventory. And he went through, talked about aspects of our business that we should literally write them down and keep them somewhere safe. ONPASSIVE is each and every one of our businesses. And the equivalence of that inventory is record keeping. I don't care what country you are from, where you'll be running your business or recording your business, you will need to be able to generate some sort of a balance sheet at the end of the year. It means then that even at this moment that we haven't gone live yet, we are at a point that we know this is going to be the first year that we would most likely have a 1099 from ONPASSIVE. That is going to tell you how much money you made from this business. And if you take that and send it to your tax person, they'll probably submit it to your respective tax authorities, and you have to pay taxes on that money. You will need, as a business person, to be able to offset some of your business expenses from that income. What are some of those business expenses? This list is not even half of what we need to think about, but I want you, at the very least, to start keeping proper records. You may use some online tools. You may use a spreadsheet, a Google spreadsheet. You may just even have a notebook that you write a date and you write the type of expense, how much it was. Whatever method that you find suitable, or if you are sophisticated, you can use some accounting software, or even when we start having our own solutions like accounting, you can use them. But for now, just remember, ONPASSIVE is a business and you need to have a business office. Your office may even be a room in your house that you dedicate for the purpose of your business. And my second disclaimer here, unfortunately, is that most of what I am going to be talking to you about will be based on primarily the United States. There are some components that will go across the world, but because I have been practicing primarily here in the United States, I may give examples that are specific to United States, but the reason, the purpose of giving these examples is just for you to keep this information. And then when you meet with your tax accountant or whoever does your books for you, you provide that information, let them take what is relevant and leave out the rest, than for you to miss out on expenses and then you end up paying away your money to your tax authorities. So if you have a home, you may decide that one of the rooms in your house or one of these spaces or a study is your business location. The United States government recognizes that a home office, you could actually deduct the cost of that space as a percentage of your entire household mortgage or rents towards that business, provided that specific area is dedicated for the business. You may end up in a situation where you have an office that you're leasing or renting outside of your property. You have to buy equipment in that office. Some capital equipment you can actually buy, and there's a section of the IRS code that will allow you to claim the cost of that in 1 year, or you could choose to depreciate. Each and every one of us, Ash has talked to us about getting a good computer, getting a good phone, get a large screen TV so you can actually see the quality of our ONPASSIVE solutions. Those are legitimate business expenses. But if you cannot document them, then there is no way for you to be able to claim anything. Travel expenses. My hope is that as ONPASSIVE goes live, we will all have the opportunity to go have ONPASSIVE events at different places, and there will be travel expenses that will be incurred. So if I choose to actually take a trip from New Jersey to Florida to go meet Dr. Derek, we have a nice weekend and we go to a hotel or go somewhere and we organize an ONPASSIVE meeting. All of those costs could be business expenses, but I need to document them so that my tax professional can pick out the legitimate ones. If I don't, then I cannot assume that those took place. Again, you may end up having some staff. Yes, we'll have businesses and we can have people that are working for us. Your accountant is a staff member you're paying, that's a business expense. You may choose not to cut your own lawn because it takes more time for you. It's probably to go talk to somebody about your business. So there are some of those costs that you need to document, and they can be taken off as part of your business expenses, and a lot more. If you have specific questions about which ones you can claim, the best person to talk to would be your tax preparer. But one thing I should also say is, even though this is the first year that we're going to go into ONPASSIVE, buy the relevant things that you will require. Get the computer, the phone, and so on. Do not jump out there and go get some luxury office and start spending money until maybe 4, 5, 6 months have gone by, and then we see how everything is going before we start taking that next leap. So let's just look at what I have speculating in my head as some of the things that we will probably talk about when we get into this series. So for today, I'm going to talk about some of the foundational things. One of them has been just this idea of keeping records. The following series, I'm going to attempt to talk about things like debt management, budgeting, emergency fund. I think Dr. T actually did a great presentation recently about emergency funds, and especially how much you need to set aside, where to keep them so that you're not tempted to get into them. I know many of us have liquidated our emergency funds to get this business started, but when things get going, we need to talk about that. Then maybe we'll spend quite a bit of time talking about this idea of building wealth, converting your money to wealth. And my hope is that we would be doing this after we've had a couple of months of having income coming in from ONPASSIVE, so that we can actually know what we're talking about. And if any of you want to go out and start putting together some of this in action or putting some structures in place, then you have the money to do that. We'll talk about how to protect the wealth, and on the idea of legacy planning, talk about wills, estates, estate preservation, all that good stuff. One thing that I'm actually working on right now, I don't know when that will happen, is there is a company. It's an internationally renowned company that helps with business people structure their businesses, as well as help them to properly structure it solely for the purpose of preserving those estates that have been created. So you're hearing trusts and other type of structures. I spoke to one of the leaders, and he is interested in giving us like a presentation when the time is right. And this one, I am pursuing it for our benefit, because they don't only work in the United States, they work globally. So many of us will benefit from that presentation. And when we get to that point, that information will be shared accordingly. So let's move on to this, the next couple of slides that are going to focus on today. If you look at this slide that I have here, I think I had shared this when we're talking about mindset. I said, for us to be able to build a strong financial future, everything starts with the foundation. So if you look at the blocks that I have there, like 4, there might be more depending on how we choose to slice them. If you look at where most of us are today, once ONPASSIVE starts, if we're able to handle the first 3, complete the what I call the foundation, deal with debt management, deal with the emergency funding, then we will actually have that freedom, or as our CEO said, we would have filled our tanks, and we will be better positioned to look out now how to help humanity, look out how to build wealth, look out how to create those avenues to help uplift humanity. So for today, I'm going to spend a few minutes and talk about the idea of protection. Why is this important? It is important because without health, without life, we cannot actually have that bandwidth to think. And if some of those things should happen to us even at this early stage when we are trying to create our world, then it could be tough on ourselves, on our family, and the dreams that we have to help humanity. So the first one that I just want to talk about is this idea of making sure that we take care of our bodies from a healthy point of view, from an health insurance. Obviously, the first thing when it comes to health is for us to make sure that we treat this temple that God has given us with the right food, with the right nutrition, and the right thoughts to stay healthy, but then still recognize that we can get sick. And so it is important wherever you are, and if the institutions offer it, to make sure you have some sort of health insurance. Many of us are presently working for some organization that may be providing that to us, but when we become independent business people, it may be necessary for us to completely have our own private health or complement with any health care that is provided by, say, the government or public services. Again, looking at it from a point of view of full disclosure, I have in the United States an insurance license that allows me to do health and life insurance. I'm licensed in the entire East Coast and West Coast and a couple of the states midway in between. But I personally chose not to focus a lot on the health insurance part of the business. Not that I do not understand what is involved. More importantly, I know other people right here on this platform who would provide that type of assistance should somebody need it. One of the things that I want us to also think when people go out there looking for their health insurance is to know that when we talk about health insurance, it is mainly for short-term care, and it is nothing to do with long-term care. Long-term care really deals with taking care of somebody who is not able to take care of themselves either through age or some other disability, which may not necessarily be health, may not have been caused by some immediate illness. Most health insurance policies, as far as I know, in fact, all health insurance policies do not cover long-term care. So this is it's one of those areas where if you see people who live in assisted living facilities, in nursing homes, or they live in these adult care centers, those are people who cannot get in and out of bed by themselves without help. They cannot bathe themselves, they cannot feed themselves, they cannot control the bowels, or some of them might just be cognitively impaired, and health insurance policies may not cover even a fraction of what they cover. And when we have the means, there is probably a need to do that. You may say, well, if I have my money coming in from ONPASSIVE, why do I bother to get something like that? The simple answer is one word called leverage. The amount that you will pay to get these services is always much, much more than what you would pay to get an insurance. And the unfortunate thing is most of these insurances are like a parachute. You know, if you don't have it when you need it, it's too late. So the advice we always tell people is if that opportunity is there for you to be able to look into it and consider it for yourselves, do that. The other area on health policy, health insurance, which again, depending on how large your business is going to be and how many people you may actually get into your business to be working for you, you may choose to actually set up a health insurance. And that in itself may be a way to help humanity, because you could choose to set up a health insurance for your employees or everybody that works for you and subsidize it for them. That way, you are actually helping those people through your own passive means. The next one, which I want us to think about, again, this is not something that I personally offer or I deal with, is travel insurance. We know that even one of our solutions is going to be booking, which will help people who want to travel. And I know many of us are dreaming of traveling the world to meet all these beautiful families that we have met and the relationships we have created in ONPASSIVE. But, you know, Sister Queen Debbie just explained the horrors that she just faced traveling back safely, we thank God, but with not all her luggage. So when and if you have to get yourself on any of these trips, these are some of the considerations that we need to start taking care of, just in case our travel plans go awry. There are policies that will cover you for canceled trips, interrupted trips, bad weather, lost luggage, stolen bags, delays, missed connections. A lot of travel companies will actually ask if you want to add this into your budget or travel budget, or some may even, there are independent companies out there that provide these services, and you just need to go pick your country that you're traveling to, the duration of your trip, and then you buy that policy, and the policy normally lasts for the length of the trip. Combined with the general travel policy is the travel health insurance. Again, very, very important, because for those of us who may choose to go to some areas to do humanitarian work, if you get sick there, chances are that the health plan that you have in your home country may or may not extend beyond the boundaries. So there are policies that will actually cover you if you get sick in a foreign land. And some of these policies will actually include evacuating you out of that foreign country back into your own home country. One little tip here is to know that there are some of these credit card companies that will tell you that if you buy your ticket with their credit card, they will provide you a certain amount of travel insurance. My advice is check and find out what it is that they provide. Make sure it's adequate for you before deciding what additional health insurance or travel insurance to buy. Typically, the travel insurance cost could be as much as 10% of your trip. But if you shop around, you may get good companies that give you competitive prices. The other foundational thing that I really want to spend a bit of time talking about here is the issue of life insurance. So the question is, why do we even want to talk about this as a foundational financial strategy to consider? There are many reasons for doing that, but three things that I just want to put right up here are the idea of leverage, the idea of access, and believe it or not, as far as the United States goes, taxes are probably one of the biggest reasons why a lot of the wealthy people, they go and put their money in this type of vehicles. So, and I talk about leverage, I may have, say, $1 million of life insurance at the moment, and the total amount of money that I have paid for it will never ever be $1 million. So if something were to happen, my loved ones will always get more than what I put in. Most of the insurances that we are aware of is what I normally call the death insurance, which means if somebody stops breathing, then the insurance company pays. But where we as the worthy to be need to be considering and putting our monies is more what I talk about here in terms of the cash value life insurance policies. And there is a true story here of somebody who in 2014 bought a policy for $201 million life insurance. And it wasn't that this individual really loved their family that much. They were buying the insurance for them. It was just a way for him to pack his money so that the IRS didn't have to be taxing him the money, and he could have access to that money anytime he needed. Well, the point at the time when this was written, they kept calling it a mystery billionaire until by 2020, it came out that that mystery billionaire was no other person than Mr. Elon Musk, who had sold PayPal to eBay, got $93 million, and was thinking to himself, what do I do with this money? And not just put it in an account and be paying taxes on my interest. Used most of that money to buy a $200 million permanent life insurance, loaded all that money inside, and that money has been growing. When he needed some of it to do his businesses, he could get it out without paying taxes. And when he was setting up his businesses and he needed to use it as a collateral, it was also there. We would we'll talk a bit more about this because it is something that is very useful for people to consider. So when we talk about this, I'm going to talk about it from an individual level. One, all of us, or most of us, would be starting our own passive business from zero in terms of the amount of money that we have, but we have a lot of responsibilities. Our children, our mortgages, the debts that we have accumulated, college loans for our kids, and all that good stuff. The good news is that with time, hopefully those debts would be eliminated. But should the worst happen, most of those responsibilities never follow us in the hearse. They stay back with the family. So part of being a steward is also to make sure that we take the opportunity to give ourselves the right protection. And then we can use these very vehicles to build, accumulate, transfer wealth. One thing I'm going to touch on here is that a lot of us may have to also think about doing the same for the young ones. Not that we're praying any one of our kids passes away, but that we actually try and set them up on the right track. And then who owns those policies is one of the discussions that we will have when we move to the area of estate planning and legacy planning. There is also what we call the group insurances, which is what we all have in our jobs. You know, as long as you work with them, if something happens, they'll give some money to your beneficiaries, but when you leave, it's gone. As business owners, this is where we would need to actually, I would almost think that each and every one of us, assuming that you are in a country that allows for this, may want to consider one of or more of these options here. For example, if you set up your business, my hope is that we would not really need any liability insurance. But if I know that you're getting into some good business and making money, you know, anything that happens, I want to sue you and your business. So depending on the structure of that business, it may be a good business expense to have a liability or what I call business casualty insurance. Those are cheap, but they give us peace of mind. Charitable giving. Again, this will probably come out more when we look at the legacy planning, but there are lots of people that at the moment as businesses, they may choose that when the good Lord calls them, whatever is left should be passed over to a charity. What if you can multiply that value that you're giving to your charity, either by setting up a life insurance with the charity as the beneficiaries right now and you're paying, and then they will have a lot more tax-free, or some people may actually decide to not only give money to charity, but tell the charity that we want to create a life insurance and give you the money you funded. If you do that as a business in the United States, there may be tax benefits for you, but those we will, if you're interested in that, we can talk about it in a bit more detail. Business continuity. Let's say me and Dr. Derek, we choose that we're going to go into a partnership, but nobody in our family is interested in being in partnership with the other. So if something were to happen to me and my family said, you know what, it was you and Dr. Derek, we don't really want to do business with him, we want out. In many cases, those businesses would probably have to liquidate in order to pay off the other partner. And there are some types of business insurances, especially the doctors' practices, lawyers, that try and set these ones up so that if one partner is disabled or passes away, the business can continue. Same thing for what I call the succession and legacy planning /heirs. Again, you have a business, you have, say, 3 kids, and you maybe one of them is very interested in the business, the other 2 don't care, and then daddy is gone. The other 2 come and say, we want our own portion of daddy's business. Now, how would the other one be able to raise enough money to buy out the other 2? There are systems, there are policies, and there are plans in place to do those type of things. And for people who get into those type of businesses or who are concerned once that their businesses might fold after they have gone, this might be something very useful. I mean, when I look back, say in Cameroon, where I came from, and we know a lot of successful businessmen who died and their businesses literally followed them to the grave. I don't think that was their aim when they were setting up the business and putting up a lot of energy. We want to make sure that even when we are gone, the business can still run. And guess what? You can make sure that that business still operates based on your rules, or as somebody say, you can control it beyond the grave by putting the right tools in place. And those are things there that if you know any person that is in this platform that deals with life insurances, that deals with business insurance, that deals with legacy planning, talk to them and let them point you to the right direction. But please, again, this is not something I'm telling anybody to jump onto right now, but I want us to start knowing that these tools are there. And then when you get to that point and you start scratching your head, just pick up a phone, call, and if we don't have an answer, what most likely we'll do is point you to somebody who will do that. Let me just use as an example to show you why I think this is important. This is the statistics that are found on this slide. They're kind of old, but I hope you see the story that I'm trying to tell here. If you look at, they say the richest Americans own over half of their tax-free investment gains built up in life insurance. And if you look at the green portion of this graph, it tells you that the top 10% of the wealthy people own 55%. Well, for those of us here in the US, my hope is that that 10% would soon include us when we are blessed by ONPASSIVE. And we need to start thinking and using the same tools that have been built for those who have wealth. If you look at the 50th percentile or the 50 to 90th percentile of the country, they own another 35%. And the families in the bottom half of the network wealth, they're like 6.5%. We can change this equation with ONPASSIVE. Maybe let me say the final foundation I just want to spend time talking about is this idea of disability. Again, a lot of people confuse disability with health insurance, with long-term care and all that stuff. But for those of us who are opportune to be doing our 9 to 5 and work for somebody, disability is primarily designed to replace a portion of your income while you are sick. And in the United States specifically, it is designed never to replace all your income. So they want to make sure that you have a motivation to go back to work. It is usually either short-term or long-term. And sometimes people who are independent business owners could go out and have their own disability. The purpose of having it obviously is that if they are not able to work, then there should be some income coming in for them to be able to pay their bills. The good news with ONPASSIVE for us is CADMO. So I do not see this as a big issue for those of us who are within ONPASSIVE to get worried about it, but it is necessary to know that disability insurance is there, and it is also for those who actually choose to get it. You need to know that it is very, 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 very specific and restricted. And if you read, policies vary in how they defined. Some policies pay out only if you can't work any job which you're qualified for. Others pay out if you can't perform a job in your occupation. So if somebody is a surgeon and they get a disability, general disability, and they use their fingers for surgery and they break their fingers, they may not be paid a disability because the insurance company may say, well, you're a medical doctor, you can, prescribe medications to people, or you can consult and still earn money. So for that person to make sure that they are insuring themselves as a surgeon, they actually have to pick a specific policy which says own profession. And those always tend to be more expensive. But as I said, this for us as a foundation, I will not really dwell a lot on. I will say we need, when the time comes, to think about our foundations from the point of view of health, our foundations in the point of view of life insurance, both individual and business, and we need to think about travel insurance when we are on the road. I hope you picked one or two things from what I shared with you today. But as I said, we're going to be peeling a few more in the next series. And please, if you have any specific questions, I may be able to answer. And I'm sure that there are quite a few people on this platform that can actually answer as well as I can, because as Sister Queen Debbie said, we are blessed to have a platform with people who have a lot of knowledge and they are willing to share selflessly. Thank you very much, and over to you, Queen Debbie.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Dr. John. Sorry. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I don't know what's going on here, but you know what I'm trying to do. Anyway, I'm still adjusting to being back in. That's no excuse. But thank you so much for that outstanding. I'm not going to say you nailed it because that was just a unique thing for Queen JW. Thank you so much. I just have a financial class from you. I'm sure I'm not the only one, but other people did as well. We appreciate you. We appreciate your sharing of the knowledge that you acquired over the decades with us tonight. Very much welcome. We appreciate it. All right, this is the time for questions and discussions regarding the presentation from Dr. John. And I see Queen Janine's hand is already up as well. Queen Janine.
Thank you, Queen Debbie. Oh,
You're
Dr.
welcome.
John, I'm just blown away. And I have to tell you, I'm an artist and I am so right-brained, then I walk leading to the right. So this is a whole new universe for me, a whole world that you've opened up. Specifically, my question is, I'm a senior citizen. I am not married at this time, but God knows that could happen again. And I have no children. And it's occurred to me that I need to start thinking about what happens if I'm at the moment, thank God I have all my capabilities and I'm fit and healthy, but something should happen that I would need long-term care. You mentioned this, and this is something, is there some kind of insurance policy or something I could get? Where would you point me to start setting something up so that if I needed somebody to brush my hair and put me to bed, there would be some place for me to go?
Great. Thank you, Janine. Maybe I will send you my number in the chat, because there are companies that I know in Canada that actually provide different types of policies. I personally, I am not licensed in Canada because they will consider it as working in Canada, and I need to work visas. But the way I know of people out there, both East and West Coast, that can actually reach out to you, discuss what it is that you're looking for, and we'll be able to provide you with a direction or a path forward. So what I'm doing right now, if you check the chat shortly, I'll give you my number. Then you can text me, and maybe I'll connect you with somebody north of the border.
Oh, that's wonderful, Dr. John. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. I'd love to be able to keep going into my 90s and do the gardening and everything else I'm doing, but you never know. It's better to be prepared, right?
Exactly.
Yes. Thank you so much. I so appreciate this. My head is spinning, but I know I need to learn this. I can talk to you about art till the cows come home. I'm very creative, but this is a whole other universe I need to master. Thank you.
Okay. So I just put my number in the chat for you.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
Well, Queen Janine, thanks for your question. I'm sure you definitely will get a well-deserved response, but numbers are irrelevant. Huh?
Yes.
Numbers are irrelevant. Don't worry. Remember Dr. Derek's song, don't worry, be happy. All right. ONPASSIVE is going to clear all of that.
So just a fun fact for you, Janine, based on one assessment by I would say it's more the US Health and Human Services. They're predicting that by the year 2050 we'll probably have over 10 million people or 1 million people over the age of 100. So you're just getting into middle age.
And I don't know if you were a Star Trek person, but if we lived on Vulcan, I'd be in nursery school. So,
okay, there you go.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. John, for taking care of Queen Janine. Okay. Well, I'm not seeing any hands up. It means that presentation was so well understood that there are no questions. Is that the interpretation I'm getting from there? I would say so.
Or did I confuse everyone?
I don't think so. I do not think so. All right, I see my sister's hand is up. Sister Queen Dr. Patience.
No, I want to say, oh, it was over our heads. I said, oh, it was over our heads. So
the truth of this is, as I said, and it was intentional that I just brought the points out. I don't expect that everybody should really go out there, and it's not like a DIY type of thing, but it is important to know that these are some of the resources available. And just like Sister Janine just spoke, and I'll try and look for somebody to help her. That's how we can help each other.
Wow, this is I would say the spirit of ONPASSIVE, helping one another so nobody is left behind. Being as selfless as you are with your time, with your knowledge, to empower our global ambassadors. Thank you very much, Dr. John. Very much appreciated. Queen Kanla, I see her here. All right, Brother Joseph. Good evening.
I don't
and
see
welcome.
a number. I don't see a phone number.
Queen Violet. Okay.
Yes, I don't see
hear
a
your
phone
voice.
I send the number to Janine.
Right,
Oh.
directly. Yeah.
I send it directly to
Great.
her.
What about all the rest of the Canadians?
Oh.
Do you need the number, Violet? Okay. I didn't know you need. I just sent it to her because she's with you. Okay. No, I didn't want to. I'll contact you, Violet.
Okay, Dr. John. I know you will. Thank you. All right, Brother Joseph.
Thank you so much and good evening. Thank you, Dr. John. That was a very good presentation, and it's teaching us a lot. The question I have is, it's not actually a question. ONPASSIVE is registered, and we are supposed to have our own businesses under ONPASSIVE. I find it difficult to say that we are supposed to register ONPASSIVE as private businesses. No, but we are business owners. How do you think that we will be able to do our tax deductions? Are we going to be like 1099 workers for ONPASSIVE, or we can also own our own businesses where we can, if we have workers who are going to be receiving salaries and also paying their own taxes? How do we go around this?
Okay, Brother Joseph, thanks for that question. The first thing that I just want to clarify here is that we are ONPASSIVE. We are not employees of ONPASSIVE. We are not registered like ONPASSIVE we are affiliated to ONPASSIVE, but we are not part of the ONPASSIVE organization. At the end of the year, you have your own business. Let's say, think about it this way. Mobile or share, they have their gasoline, and you have a lot of gas stations up and down the country that actually would buy the share or the mobile or Chevron gasoline and put it in their underground tanks and sell them. At the end of the day, they buy the gasoline from Shell, even though Shell you may say it's a Shell station, or you think about the McDonald's restaurants you see, all those people are independent franchises that are marketing the McDonald's or the Shell products. We are 100% independent businesses that are marketing, that are selling. Now, let me not use the word selling, that are distributing ONPASSIVE products. The big difference between ONPASSIVE and all these other companies is that these companies, ONPASSIVE is marketing for us. They're doing a lot of the heavy lifting for us. At the end of the year, ONPASSIVE is going to give you a 1099 for the income that you have generated. There would also be an expense that you've subscribed some products and all that stuff. And it is now your business. You get that net amount that you brought into your business. If you went now and opened, let's say, a Joseph and Co. business, and on top of ONPASSIVE, you're doing other stuff, you can, or even if you don't do other stuff, you can actually employ people to work for you, whatever you choose that they work. And those are your employees. They are not ONPASSIVE employees. They are Joseph and Co. business. It just happens that the relationship between you and ONPASSIVE is that you would get a 1099 from ONPASSIVE. That 1099 comes into the ONPASSIVE will tell the federal government, we pay Joseph $100,000, and this is the proof that we paid him. We did not withhold any taxes. And then the IRS would come after you and say, okay, you got this $100,000 from ONPASSIVE. Let's pay your taxes. So that's why I was saying that all your business expenses that you have been doing, including the subscription of ONPASSIVE products, those are the expenses that you then take to your accountant and you tell them that, hey, I did business with company X and that company generated an income of 100,000 for me. And at the same time, I had incurred this and this and this as the costs, and your taxes will be done based on that. If by nature of where you structure your business, your taxes are, your corporate taxes are different from mine, then that's what you're going to pay. ONPASSIVE is not going to have any relationship with us when it comes to running our business. And that's why you remember when Dr. Derek has spoken over and over, he keeps telling us that your business will be your .co, and that your business, whatever you choose to do, as long as it's not violating your relationship with ONPASSIVE, it is your business, and how you handle your expenses, it's yours. I don't know if that helped, but just to remember that we are just affiliated with ONPASSIVE, but ONPASSIVE's registration has absolutely nothing to do with us. You can choose to remain as a sole proprietor. You can choose to be an LLC. You can choose to be an S Corp. You can even choose to form a corporation that would be your ONPASSIVE business, and ONPASSIVE has absolutely nothing to do with that.
Okay, thank you so much. Which means, therefore, we should start thinking of editing the names that we have on our on the ONPASSIVE to reflect the different businesses that we might have.
Which you have been, you remember Ash has told us over and over that ONPASSIVE is trademarked. I cannot call my business John Ajongwen ONPASSIVE business. No, because it is not, I am not ONPASSIVE. ONPASSIVE will help me market my business, but my business should be branded to whatever I want to call it. Plus, I can choose to, and that's why I keep telling everybody, don't go spending money on structuring your company or on deciding whether your company needs to be located in some tax haven until you actually see how the business is performing, then decide at that point whether it's worth the costs.
Okay. Yeah, the question which I was asking is just that, if I have a company, for example, joseph.com, and I am registered in ONPASSIVE like Joseph, I need to, in order not to have a 1099 that will come to me, then I will be finding it difficult on how to put it under my company. I should therefore just use joseph.com as my company or Joseph LLC, so that ONPASSIVE will be giving the 1099 to Joseph LLC than giving it to me, and then it will be difficult for me to pass it over to my company. And that's why I was asking whether we should now be able to edit the names and let them be company names.
For now, because we don't know how the O-Verify is going to work, I will caution against that, but that is something that a few of us have been thinking along the same lines. And the whole statement is just hold on to that thought. And then when we see how things are unfolding, then we can make those decisions. Yes.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, Brother Joseph. Thank you, Dr. John. All right, we have one more hand up, and I see Queen Kanla is here. So over to you, Queen Kanla.
Oh, thank you, Queen Debbie. Good evening, everyone. At this time, I would like to call on Brand Ambassador Ian. Please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Thank you very much. Peace, blessing, and enough love to each and every one. Dr. John, I don't have a question, but I want to say your presentation was a powerful and excited one. I know you have, excuse me, I know you have done this before, and I really appreciate that you come back to do it again. And I know myself and others appreciate it so much. And I'm very grateful that Dr. Derek had, brought it back. And so it's like a highlight to each and every one again. It's like an eye opener. So thank you very much again. That's all I have to say. This is a very powerful presentation, very helpful. And I mean, I know I enjoy it so much, and I can't wait to hear more. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Queen Ian McFarlane.
Wow,
my pleasure.
That is amazing. Thank you as well. At this time, oh, okay. It looks like that is the last hand we have raised. Let me look in the chat and see if we have any other questions in the chat. Dr. John, this is from Barbara. Barbara, Brand Ambassador Barbara Daly, also wants that you should send your number, please.
Okay.
I think that is all for now. So back to you, moderator, Queen Debbie.
Thank you, Sister Kanla. Thank you, Queen Kanla. Dr. John, you see that your presentation is so good. Nobody wants to talk to you here. They want, they want special sessions with you, right? Private sessions. Oh boy, thank you. Dr. Derek, I love your avatar tonight. You want to say something to Dr. John before we move to the next segment, Dr. Derek?
He says no.
Dr. D.
Oh, okay. I thought you were a co-host. All right, you can unmute now, Dr. Derek. So funny. Let me see where you are.
Yeah, Kanla is co-host.
Yes, I am co-host.
Okay.
Oh, I just got co-host.
Okay.
All right, so we're good. All right, there are no more hands up. So at this stage, I will say thank you to all our wonderful presenters.
Yeah, she said.
Sorry? Oh, okay. All right, maybe my ears are playing tricks with me. Thank you to JW for that.
Oh, all right. Sorry, sis. We just got a hand raised from Brand Ambassador Sophia. Please unmute yourself and ask your question or share with us your excitement.
I'm sorry, I have been traveling all day getting things done, but I was listening to the presentation and I just wanted to tell the speaker that he did such a wonderful job. I had never heard him speak before, and he said that he had done a different presentation, the first part, and this is the second part. I'm gonna have to go back and listen to the first part, but it was very much needed information that I was not aware of, that now I can put into my my folder so that I can use in the near future. And I just wanted to tell him thank you so very much for the wonderful presentation that he has given to all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Queen Sophia. Thank you, Queen Sophia. I'm not going to hold anyone any longer. We appreciate that comment, and Dr. John did acknowledge as well. Dr. John, first let me thank Queen JW, and then Dr. John, you have the final word, and then we can move to the next segment of our of today's webinar. Dr. John, final word, please.
Well, you know, as I said, this is a journey that I would like us to take together. And we're going to explore a few more of these concepts. And please, let's use it more as a learning. Let's use it just as an awareness. And then when the rubber hits the ground, we will be out there ready to help each other, because we have to succeed as a community. And when we succeed as a community and uplift ourselves, then we will be programmed and prepared to go and uplift the entire human race. I really want to thank Dr. Derek, again, Sister Jill, and all the leaders of this platform for the tremendous work that you guys do. This platform has been running for years, and there is, whether come rain or shine, it takes place. The amount of knowledge that we have accumulated being here, it's just unbelievable. And I just want to thank you all, and thank all the brand ambassadors that attend, because without you, there's no reason for us to be having these webinars anyway. So stay blessed, and let's enjoy the tops that we're going to and wait for next week.
Thank you, Dr. John. Thank you. Thank you. We truly appreciate you. You're one of the valuable members of this and other platforms that everyone contributes to, and especially the brand ambassadors who are currently signed in. And Queen JW, oh, Brother Kumaran, our Malaysian brother is here. I know you're behind the wheel, either picking up the children from school or coming, dropping them off or picking them up.
Thank you. I was looking for a park to my car. That's why I never raised the hand. I managed to park now, and I don't want to miss out. Dr. John is a wonderful sharing. You see, we sometimes to attend this kind of talk, we have to pay, and you are giving this. So I mean, for free, I really appreciate it. It's a wonderful. And when you're talking about the wealth management, the finance, the insurance part, it's really very important, because there are people going for wealth, there are people going for health, but the insurance is the one that comes in the middle where it balances both. And I was doing financial planning in when I was in the banking, so I attend all these courses. What you are sharing just now is really wonderful. And after almost about 25 years, I recall back all the information you're sharing. Thank you. And I'm so excited that you're coming to Singapore webinar about a few weeks. I'm excited and waiting for you. Thank you, Dr. John.
Thank you, Brother Kumaran.
Thank you, Brother Kumaran. I'm glad you had to park the car before talking to us, and take good care of the children. I know they're in the car with you. So thanks again once more for joining us as always. And at this point, I want to say thanks to everyone who has joined us, and we want to say goodbye and thank you to our YouTube live viewers. We appreciate you. We thank you, and we look forward to having you again on this same channel every Tuesday and Thursdays, same time. Bye to our YouTube viewers, and we're going to move to the next segment of the webinar, which is after party. Yes, that's Sister Kanla's department. She loves to party.
Yes, after party. Greetings, everyone. Queen JW. I did not get the chance to listen to your whole presentation, but I know it's amazing from the compliments. I am going to go back and listen, but always appreciate it and love you for all you do. So thank you. Dr. John, that was amazing. Thank you as well for the presentation, and thank you to all our leaders for this evening wonderful webinar. And as I get ready to begin the after party, please feel free to also put in any special requests you have.
Sorry to interrupt you, just hold on so we